Hello. Testing 1, 2. Okay. Just gonna hang out here. We'll just wait until people pop in. Make sure it sounds all good. Hello? Can everyone hear me and the music okay? Just testing audio levels. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go over a few of the character-related art stuff. I'll show you how the characters are like assembled and how they're animated, and then we'll draw a couple guys, and we'll do some Q&A. Justin will be in around 3. Sound good? Okay. So here we've got, I'm going to turn this down. So here we have all of our classes, every character in the game, and how they're put together. It varies depending on the character. So these are all the cameos for our lovely Kickstarter backers. You'll notice that these guys do not have RGB masks. That's because these guys are they're set to only be one skin, whereas all of these characters can have multiple camouflages on them. And so that's what the RGB channels are for. Anything you see that isn't red, green, or blue, like hair or skin, will just be that color in the game. Whereas these characters will all always look like this. They'll all always have that color. The exception are the outfit designers. These will all be RGB because these are outfits that everyone has access to, and so they can have multiple camo. And if you want to see the actual way they're assembled, this is the texture for the character and the gun. So all you need to create a Strike Force Heroes character is this information. The head will always be in this position, the backpacked body. There are 2 pelvises for if a character needs to have a skirt that goes over the legs or just a pelvis that goes under the legs, the front leg. And there are a few variations of the hand for reloading animations or if the character needs to hold a sword. We didn't really bother with that in the Flash games because it was a tiny portion of the window size. But now this is going to be a full HD game. You can see individual fingers. Everything just needs to have a lot more detail. And the program that we use to actually animate it is ironically not Adobe Animate, it's Spine. And so all of those body parts get attached to bones, which you can then animate however you want. So, for instance, where am I gonna go? There we go. Yeah, you can just drag the parts however you want. You can have them be IK or FK. IK just means if you move the last part of the joint, the whole arm will bend properly. That's how you get games. If a character in a game is ever standing properly on steps, and the feet align properly. That's what IK is. And for Strike Force Heroes, we also have to overlay the animations. So for instance, every gun in the game has a setup phase, and then there's also the idle animation. So that's how you'll get all the different gun. I mean, it looks really weird because these are just all the gun parts that are just mashed together. So because this is a machine gun, you can just do... Oh, is it not? Or are we not... Is it not picking up spine here? Oh, okay. 1 second. I'll just... Sorry, is that better? What? Can everybody see the spine? Sorry. That was my bad. Yeah, so once that character... This is spine, for those of you who couldn't see. That character texture gets put into spine, and all of those textures get assigned to bones, and that's what every character in the game... Every character in the game shares the same skeleton. All the guns share the same parts, so it looks a little weird, like this would be if a character were holding 2 guns. But that's just because all of the gun parts, they need to animate separately, the slide, the magazines, all that kind of stuff. And IK, this is just where an example of you would move the foot and the rest of the leg aligns. Lots of games do this kind of thing for things like stairs. Yeah, and then this is every single animation in the game. They also layer on top of each other. So for instance, this is what the character would naturally look like in the game, which is really weird. This is basically our version of a T-pose. And so the first thing that gets set up is the setup phase, and then the idle would be layered on top of that. And so you'd get the guy holding it properly. So yeah. I'm wrong. It's idle first, then setup. And yeah, you'll be able to see all the different parts that move on the guns. Reloading. The reloading is a combination of animation and particle effects. But this is how every character works, including characters like the zombies, swords, all that stuff. They're all just done using these characters, which is why it would technically be possible to do mods for the game, but we just haven't really looked into how that would be done, because technically if you just drew over these textures, you would be able to get a brand new guy. It's a little bit more complicated than that when you look into like the stats and stuff, but yeah, this is the basic way that every character is animated in the game. Now, Strike Force Heroes also makes use of a normal map because we have dynamic lights in the game, and that normal map is just a gradient from left to right, top to bottom. It's not a detailed normal map. That way, the shadows and the lights will play nicely off of a character, even though they're like I drew some shadows into the characters. It's still just another one of those things that brings the game into like that high definition feeling. Oh yeah, if there's anything in particular that you want to see, feel free to ask. I can 1 sec. Yeah, I can show any of like the Flash stuff. any of the any spine stuff. I can even show you some Unity stuff if you want. Actually, let's get that happening now. Question. When designing a cameo, how did you come up with designs that didn't have a reference? That's a good question. We just iterate with the people who they would provide a description, and I would do a drawing based on that description, send it over to them. Whatever notes that they had, I would make whatever changes they wanted, and then I would just send it back, and we'd just kind of go from there. But fortunately, everybody was really, really cool about the designs. They were all like super happy, so there weren't any like major issues with that, which is cool. But and also most people did provide reference, which was awesome and made that process very smooth. So this is how the menu is assembled in Unity. It's just it's actually a true 3D scene. All the scenes in Unity are assembled in 3D, and you just layer them in Z. That way, the 3D program takes care of the sorting itself. But when you go here, see, this is the normal map. As you can see, it's just a gradient. This is the character, and then every single character texture follows the exact same format. It'll be easier to see it down here. And Justin actually created this handy data editor window for us. So when we set the camos, there's all kinds of uniques, and there's our cat girl stuff, and all the camos in the game also come here. So you can just set a texture, and then you can tint that texture, or the texture itself can provide the colors. There's lots of different customizability with the way the camos work, and all of these camos also apply to the gun. Anything that has an RGB mask can be affected by the camos or just straight colors. Unreal Engine designs. The Unreal Engine designs are mostly the Strikeforce Heroes 2 characters. That was the original. Those were our original tests, and those obviously won't be being used for Strikeforce Heroes 1. Maybe as like a special bonus skin. But if you want to see the menu, let me see if it should be okay to run this. So here, as you guys can see, for those of you who haven't had access to the early builds of the game, this is how the camos will work. Let's ignore the cat. People are currently not sized correctly, so we'll have to. Here are some of these are the Kickstarter exclusive skins. So for everyone who backed the game on Kickstarter, you'll get these. Yeah, and this is how every character has camos that work like this. And if you check the weapons also can have their own set camos. So it's not attached to your character camo. The weapon itself will have its own camo.
Locked and loaded.
We also have our multiplayer menu, which maybe we'll show you at a later date, but you can create a game and then join a game. The second player will come here, and they'll be able to have everything set properly. You'll be able to see everyone's camo, their weapons, and then you can all just join any game you want together. Campaign, challenges, everything can be played, multiple people. What else about the guys? Oh yeah, this is also where you set the skills and the kill streaks and primary set, everything for all the information for all the classes. This is where you set all of the damage for all of the different weapons, as well as their default colors and their perfect colors. So yeah, it's a very nice system. Took a while to get it all running smoothly, but it's pretty awesome now. How many people are currently working on this amazing project? 2, Justin and myself. We're pretty far along. Oh, did you not like something? And if you just want to see how this applies to, let's say, an arena. Let's hide that. Okay. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see a little better. So this is the first map of Strike Force Heroes. You can see all of the lighting has to be hand placed, as well as there's certain particle effects that play. See, this is like the fire. These little green things are the spawn points. All these little boxes are places that you interact with. There's also, and all of these are 3D, so you can see there's a little bit of Z fighting right now, but there's the background, there's middle ground, foreground. Yeah. And it's all just faked in a 3D engine. But all of these lights are important because they actually, because of the normal map, they'll show up on your character properly. It was one of the reasons we were really happy we started in Unreal, because it gave us, Unreal's lighting is very good, and it just gave us a good goal to shoot for when we moved to Unity. The problem with Unreal is that once you started to get multiple AI players going, the performance really tanks. Especially when you have levels that have a lot of different, like, transparent layers onto it. Unreal's just not designed for that kind of 2D performance. It's very much more of a 3D engine. Will the other maps have an extended version? Certain maps have extended story things, as well as boss-specific arenas. So yeah, it just depends on the map. But yeah, currently, all of the original maps are done in the game. They all exist. We're just sort of waiting on finalizing the multiplayer development. We also added a new map, just that we've currently just been using for testing purposes, and we just turned it into an official map, but that's not fully in the game yet. I can show you how that. Maybe I'll do an art stream dedicated solely to, like, the maps later on. Where did the Strikeforce Hero idea originate from? The idea originated from me and Justin wanting to make a shooting game that wasn't Raze, that wasn't, you know how Raze is kind of like Unreal Tournament or Quake, where the guns are all placed around the levels, whereas, like, we like the Call of Duty approach, where you got a loadout, and you had set skills, and we also liked the classes from Team Fortress and like the crazy story and humor from Metal Gear. It was just a combination of a bunch of games that we liked. But yeah, we'll do a full-on Q&A when Justin joins. He's going to be joining soon. Okay, let's enough talk. Let's draw. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to be drawing is by request. It's a weird combination of things, but I'm going to try to see if I can do it. One of the Kickstarter requests is something along the lines of this helmet, which I believe is from Star Wars, and this body, which I believe is Manta from Aquaman. So I'm going to have to change it up a little bit to avoid copyright issues. So let's get started. Oh, I dragged it down. So more or less all of the heads and body parts need to conform to this similar-ish proportions, because otherwise the skeleton will break and it just won't look proper. So the eyes generally need to be in the same spot, especially because when you see the character aiming the gun, it'll look really weird if the eyes are off from the way the hands are moving, like that. Let's just see if I got this updating anywhere. Just so this way we can see the way the character is being updated. Why is the... What do you mean, why is the tank Kickstarter skin? So, the female characters are always really difficult to design. Someone asked about the female characters looking like they kind of just have a ponytail and calling it a day. Um, it's always a fine balancing act to not overly sexualize a female character, especially in a game where the camera is pulled back as far as this. You kind of really need to exaggerate things in order for them to be a female. You can kind of see from the original Strike Force Heroes 2 designs, we originally went for like a much different design. Like this would be Nathan from Strike Force Heroes 2 and his female counterpart. And their costumes look pretty different. Like she has shorts, she has different goggles, all that kind of stuff. We ended up just deciding to keep them as close as possible. So when you pick a costume, for instance, they're still proportioned differently. The females generally have wider hips, smaller waist, skinnier appendages, things like that, and ponytails. But the costume itself is pretty much identical. And that has to do with like a few things, but mostly so that you know what you're picking, what you pick is what you get type thing. You don't want to be picking one outfit and then it looks totally different when it's a female. So that's the reason for that. Are the hand sizes for male and female different in the game? Yes, they are actually. Female hands are slightly smaller than male hands. But the poses are all the same. So they still make the same fists, all that kind of stuff. Also, as a general rule, we try to make the males and females have different skin tones to just further differentiate them. Not for any particular reason, just so they look more visually different. The thing that's super weird about an RGB mask is that it goes completely from black to white. So this is the lightest it can possibly be. And then obviously this is the darkest. So you can't really get, you know, if you were just doing colors, you would probably make the shiniest part of this helmet white, but that's not how it works in RGB land. Just for reference, here, I'll just copy this and paste it in here so people can see what I'm going off of. This is a Kickstarter skin request, which isn't the red cross not allowed in video games? Is that true? I feel like I've seen that before. If it's not, I'm sure our publisher's legal team will flag it and we'll have to change it. The UN. Maybe we'll see if that's true. I feel like there are a lot of games that use med packs that have the red cross on it, so I don't know. The Geneva Conventions. I think that... Let's see. Red Cross. Do a quick Google search for this. The Red Cross is forbidden in video games. We'll see. If this is actually true. That's funny, I didn't know this. In that case, we'll have to change it to a green cross. Not a huge deal. Yeah, exactly. The color will just have to be fully customizable. So it'll change to whatever camo you want. Really, eh? No games are using the red cross anymore? So people can see what I'm using. Reference. Yeah, this is black so this is a combination of two copyright infringing things, so we're just gonna have to sort of change it up a little bit. The helmet, I think, so just to clarify, this helmet won't necessarily be red, this is just using the RGB mask. I feel like this is different enough that you won't really be able to call it out on its Star Warsy origin once this has like a green camo or something on it. Black Manta will do a little bit, a few more changes to it, while still keeping it within the what our backer wanted. And for reference, this would be for the Assassin, which explains why I guess it's a little bit more of tighter fitting armor. That's the other thing, is that All of our Kickstarter backers are very good at working within the confines of the Strikeforce Heroes aesthetic. Do I want the Globex Mag? No. No, Globex medics are still medics, so they'll still have a cross. Just one of those, it's nice to keep consistent things. Sure if I should keep the helmet and these armor pieces the same color or not. You know what, why not? For now. cameos were to have RGB or a few color iterations, what would it be, or the limits? So the issue with the cameos is that they're only designed for one person, whereas the outfit designs are going to be part of a store, the store that's going to be available to anyone. Because the cameos are these outfits, as you can see, it's all 4 classes, whereas the cameos are just one skin, and you can either apply this, you can pick the class that you want this applied to. So it's a little bit different for it to, it would be, in order for them to have an RGB mask, you would need to have a version of this for every single class. So it just gets a little weird like that because they would all look the same. If that makes sense. The Kickstarters are all motorcycle themed because you get it, kickstart, you get it. Let's just make it so that this can be simple. So let's try to keep these colors consistent. So yeah, as you can see, this purple line indicates the boundaries for how big the arm, how much space the arm can even take on the texture. But for this dot is generally where the hinge bone is, so you don't want to go too far away from that. Same thing with the knees, all the joints, they just need to be kept nice and consistent, otherwise things start to break when it comes time to animating. Is it possible to see all the cameo skins so far? Yeah, sure. Provided no one has any objections, although, I mean, they're going to get shown in the game eventually. Cameo skins are right here. Any artist was actually doing a really fun fighting game image of all the cameo skins, which was really... So, you asked about people not providing images, just descriptions. Atik actually provided a full image of the character. So this is his version, and this is the version that I drew, because he paid me to do it, so obviously I'm going to draw it. And so, technically, both of these... I mean, this one would need to be modified a little bit to work properly with the bone structure in the game, but there's no reason why it couldn't work. And yeah, some of these got really wild. This one was actually so green that it started to pick up on the RGB mask, so I actually had to tone the green down a little bit to get it to where it's its own thing. This one, I need to redraw. I had never seen the movie Robots, so I was not aware that this was just a character from the movie Robots with a soldier helmet on, so I'm gonna need to make some changes to this. Oh, where's Crazy Cow? He should be here. Oh, it must be in a different FLA. Rest assured, Crazy Cow exists. And it's funny that you mentioned that the cameos, some are military, furry, and wacky. The cameos will all be available in one of the challenge missions, and that's kind of how we're dividing them up. There will be a few different challenge missions that are themed around the Kickstarter skins, and that's definitely part of how we're organizing it. Let's give this guy some minutes. So the blue part will be glowy when it comes to time to actually put it in the game. I think I left his body in the arm. Justin should be joining in 10 minutes, so we'll liven things up a little bit once he joins. Just kind of wanted to get a head start on. I'll continue drawing as we chat. So yeah, for instance, this is the difference in hand size between male hand, female hand. I'm assuming that this is, well, this is going to be in Reddit was once a superpower. It's kind of, that is very true. Reddit is a big reason, it is the reason why we decided to make this game. That combined with the fact that you guys couldn't play it anymore on Flash. We didn't love the idea of our games being doomed to the ages. So for the rear-facing arms, kind of make things a little bit easier on ourselves. Can mostly just duplicate it, make it a little bit darker, flip what needs to be flipped. Actually, I don't think that should be flipped. Anything that's whole should be green. We'll see how it looks in game and modify. Forearm, as a general rule, should look exactly the same unless there's something that absolutely needs to be asymmetrical. Checking to see if Justin is. Right Force Heroes and Rays were one of the reasons you became a game to That's very nice of you to say. Yeah, are you a game developer on the programming or art side? Your goal is to do it all? Oof. There are a lot of game developers that have done it all. Single man games. It's tough, but it's 100% yours, which is really games are kind of unique in that way, where they actually can be more or less made by one person. The only thing that's really close to that is manga or comic books. You can be the writer and the artist and get 100% of the royalties if they make it into a movie. I believe if you guys have ever heard of the game Inscription, I'm pretty sure that's a one-man game as well. It's also really cool. Okay, I'm going to give Justin a call.
Hello.
Hey, can everyone hear Justin?
Hey everybody. Just taking a break from the online development to join in this exciting Q&A.
Okay, so we will do. Oh, right. Tech. Here we go.
And there we go. So look at the I joined right now in the image on the bottom.
Okay, so I'm just gonna continue drawing, and you guys can post whatever questions you want. Justin and Noodle will be monitoring on my behalf. You know, what questions to answer.
Oh, Mike, I was actually wondering, have you shown them the inside the game editor?
Yeah, we just very briefly went over like how the game's actually in 3D stuff.
Oh yeah, because I'm wondering if you want to go back into that. This way, I'd have a bit more to add to that as well.
Yeah.
Or how things
Actually,
are done.
can I put it? Just wondering.
Yeah, so while we're talking, we're just going to be randomly talking about the game, but feel free to throw any questions down. Be more focused on that.
Let's go. Sure.
I'm louder on stream. What if I whispered? Does that make it better?
Oh, hey, this works.
what gave us the idea for Globex. So I think Globex is actually a joke on a Simpsons episode from a long time ago. One
Yes.
of one of Mike's favorite Simpsons episodes ever. Don't tell anybody, but we may have stolen the name from The Simpsons, or at least gotten the idea directly
We were
from it.
inspired from the
If
Simpsons.
you were to search like Simpsons Globex, you would find the exact name.
It's my favorite episode to this day. Best episode ever.
That's a good question. Is the backpack for the medic too oversized?
I mean, it's a choice. So
Yeah,
it helps the medic stand out a little bit in the chaos of the fight. That's kind of where all the characters... It's kind of... The difficulty in 2D is to make the silhouettes different enough because they're all so similarly sized. So we thought giving the medic a giant backpack would just help him stand out from the assassin and the commando, who are kind of similarly sized.
yeah, it might be a good idea. We'll see in the future. It might be a good idea to shrink it a little bit because it might, it would suck if it kind of covers the guns on their back. Or do the guns go in the front? They go behind the backpack, right?
The backpack is part of the back, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it might
Actually, no.
It's
I don't know, actually, because the backpack is no, it's a separate part. Look at me,
Oh.
I don't even remember now.
Yeah, so the levels, they are in 3D. That's to give this really cool perspective for the game. Mike, can you hop into the Foundry? I think that's a good, or maybe Tropics. Tropics might be another good one to show off the perspective.
Yeah, you know what, I'll do Tropic, just because it's brighter. I don't know how Foundry's going to show up.
So system requirements, yeah, the goal is that you should be able to run it on your microwave. Like we don't have anything specific in mind yet because we haven't tested all the computers yet, but we do want to make it so it can run basically like there should be graphic options to turn everything way down, so it hopefully should run on the slowest like potatoes of computers. That would be the goal. Yeah, Mike, zoom in, show the background a little bit too. Like zoom in past the levels. There's a lot of interesting cheating going on here as well. You see, so the reflections in the water is actually, it's actually the islands flipped upside down a second time. Can you click on it? Click on the second island. Yeah, so it's actually the island flipped upside down, and it's like there's this little effect on it to make it wobbly. So it's not a real reflection in the water. And a lot of things in just game development in general are like that. It's always just cheating to make it look like it's better than it actually is.
When you don't cheat, just for reference, that's how you end up with a game like Half-Life RTX that requires a $1,000 video card to run. Because all of the reflections and lighting and shadows in that are all ray traced, so they're done for real.
Yeah, that's basically Boundary Break. That's right.
Yeah.
Can you show them the train as well? That's another interesting one. We don't think there's going to be a Siegis remaster. One of the main reasons this is getting remastered is because we noticed there was already a pretty decent following on Reddit. And so because there's already a big fan base, we wanted to sort of, bring our beloved game back to life and sort of capitalize on all the people that already exist for it. Mike, can you switch the level state to the beach, to water?
Oh, you can.
And the map handler, yeah.
When is it?
So
like is it like you said it through? Would it be 2?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So what's interesting here is
Oh right, the background moves in.
as you can see, yeah. So as you can see, the floor is just designed to always be moving. It's just like a graphic. So the train doesn't move at all. The floor is constantly just a moving graphic. And can you raise the camera a little bit? Yeah, Siegis is a little hard to spell. That's true. When we were making the game, we also like I personally had a rough time spelling it myself.
Yeah, we didn't even come up with it. Remember, it was one of those things that um, we had a vote on like name on Flash Game license. Someone remember?
Yes, yeah. Are the mountains on the tree map infinite? Oh yeah, all of the images. Like, can you back up a little bit? Show them that so they can see the photo of the bridge there. No, backwards. Yeah, it's 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 literally you can see the ends of it. It's just like a looping GIF almost.
Yeah.
The bridge,
You're talking
and
about
then in
in
the
the tunnel?
no, the train tracks. Yeah. Yeah, and then all those islands in the back, they just slide past, and once they've slid past, they go back to the right side again, and they slide again. That's it. Everything just
Yeah,
looping.
so technically the train never moves.
Yeah, we have not. I personally haven't really tried Warframe. It kind of just felt like like Destiny to me. I haven't really. I've
I
never really
have
been.
it, but I've never really played it. I heard it's amazing though. I especially heard that like they've updated it quite a bit, and now it's like evidently really.
So the light bulb in the tunnel, no, it's not visible in game. If you notice all of these little boxes, can you zoom in a bit more on the map? So all of these little boxes and everything, they're just ways for the editor to know what to do with the game. So the light bulbs, that's so we know where the lights are. And the purple squares are actually that's for a campaign mission. No spoilers, but the purple squares are meant for a campaign mission to trigger like certain events that happen. And like the green triangles, that's where people spawn in the campaign. Again, no spoilers, but that's where people spawn in the campaign. Uh, Do you guys play Terraria? Mike's never played it. I love Terraria. My God, I started playing it like a few months ago, and I loved it. It was great.
Also, I don't know if you guys can see this. Here's as close as you're gonna get.
Oh,
Sieges.
it's a remaking Sieges. Yeah.
A lot of work put into this. This is from a while ago. I want to
And
say
that
2000, maybe 14, 15-ish.
so there's another thing is that we just don't think that Sieges will be as big on a Steam release. Like it works for a Flash game because it's very simple. You move the guys on screen and they walk and that's it, right? But for a really big game, I don't think there's enough interaction
Yeah.
for a PC. You know, like sit there
This
at your computer full
this
screen.
was to be like a mobile thing. Back when we were dabbling with that, but that was right as mobile was shifting to the freemium model, so we just decided to abandon.
Yeah, yeah, and you know,
Sad.
Strike Heroes, for example, is like there's so much more to Strike Force Heroes. So many more things you can do with it, upgrades, online multiplayer now even. Um, as for Rays, we don't know about Rays at the moment. We're just make Rays great again. We're just taking one thing at a time. So we're working on this one, and we'll have to see like the where this goes from there, how well it's received. You know, obviously, if it doesn't do well, then you know, time to try something new. But if this does really well, then yeah, like it's possible to explore the other options. We spoke to Addison already. He's super on board with us making Rays in the future if possible. Was West inspired by General Shepard from Call of Duty? Mike?
Yes, that was kind of the joke about what happens in that game, if you remember, as we were developing it. Uh, it never fully came to fruition just because it's a Flash game, but the idea was to have it be kind of like a bait and switch, where you think that he's sort of set up to be the traitor, and then it's kind of a twist what ends up happening to him. That was the idea.
Mike, do you have the original Sieges when you were thinking of doing the second, sorry, a third army?
third army.
Yeah, do you remember? And there was the
So
dude.
the thing is, I can open up these SWFs.
You can't use the original.
But I just need to find which. Oh,
Okay, because Egyptian, yeah. There was like a completely new army that never saw the light of day. It was supposed to be in an iPhone release, and Mike and I met pushing carts at a grocery store when we were kids. And I was like, "Hey, I like to program games. You like to do the arts. Let's
so
get together and make something." And then
there's the forest ones. And these all animate too. It's a lot of work.
So it was initially supposed to be out. The game was supposed to release in the first quarter of the year, and it was looking good. But we partnered with a company, IndieArc, from China, and they highly requested we do an online mode. Yeah, and so if a game is not designed to be online from the beginning, it is a big process to bring online to the game. And I'm talking like in the last few months, I've been almost completely redoing the entire gameplay for the game to get online working well. And so that's what the delay is for the extra like half year. It's just putting in this online feature, which it's coming pretty good so far. There's still obviously work to be done, but it's so far it feels pretty smooth. You can't even tell it's online, which is good. Whoa, you being chilling.
Oh wait,
yeah, so
forgetting you have to do this. Oops.
An independent online client that could be opened from inside the game. I don't understand what that means. Online can be released in Q2. Oh no, I'm working hard at online right now. It's just development time. That's it. It's just a lot of work. It's only because it's only me, right? Just one programmer doing this, so it's just a lot of work to get online into the game, as well as finish, all the coding for the rest of the game. Will there be an armor from SFH 2? No, we're not having armor in this game. We want to keep that. We want to keep this game as true to the original as possible. So there's no armor like there was in the second game, but there is still a kill streak Kevlar vests, which will give people armor just for that kill streak. And the tank has one too, but otherwise there's no equipable armors. No. But yes, we did bring in gadgets, which just a little something to give an extra perk to your characters for like a bit more customizability. How is the reprogramming going? It's going well. The gameplay feels really good. I'm just finishing up Domination. And after Domination works online, then just finish a few more make sure like the campaign, a few more missions work online, and then it's good. And then it's just finishing up the rest of the campaign with Mike, and that's it. It should be like, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be another few more months until the game is done, and after that, hopefully we could release as soon as possible because we still need to have the translations. We're going to translate the game in 8 languages, and yeah, as soon as we can release it after that, we'll release it. No specific dates yet, though.
Update Steam because Steam requires you to give a specific date. So if you check the Steam page, it should say September 30th, 2023, but that's just take that to be Q3 2023.
Yeah, and so for the multiplayer, Warrior 00Z was asking about an individual client. So the way multiplayer works right now is when you turn on the game, there's a little tab that says multiplayer. And if you click on that, you can either host the lobby or join the lobby. And after that, it's the exact same game. You're still free to select your heroes, click on the missions, play any mission together with friends, against friends, whatever you like. Everything like incorporates seamlessly into the game. And it's just if other people are in your game or not. but it's a very, very like smooth experience. There's no extra menu, there's no extra windows or like special online only modes or anything like that. It's all just seamless. How much will it be on stream? The money, the price, I'm still not sure. We're thinking around like $20 American. It might be a little more, it might be a little less. We don't know exactly. That all depends on also like what the publisher has to say about it. You know, when the game's further into development, or when it's almost complete. I mean, can you make your own servers? No, sorry, no servers. It is a host game, so somebody hosts the lobby and friends can join. Or there's a server browser. You can just randomly join someone else's game if they make it public. But there's no like dedicated servers or anything like that. And there's no anti-cheat either. You know, we want to get this game done as soon as possible.
Let's not advertise that.
What? No.
The nouveau.
I just mean we want to get the game done as soon as possible, right? And again, I'm one person coding this thing, so to do anti-cheat, that's going to be another handful of months for that. And we figure like it's mainly to play with your friends, and because someone is hosting the game, if someone's cheating, you can just kick them out of your lobby. It's no big deal. You know, somebody is basically in charge of you host the lobby, people join, and if someone's misbehaving or whatever, you just kick them out.
That's true.
So I imagine cheating, you know, and hey, if you and your buddies want to cheat together, have a competition of who can cheat the most, or if somebody wants to put some kind of hack for like infinite ammo on the campaign mode, then, you know, more power to you. If you guys are enjoying it, then everybody can hack together. You know, you decide what you want to do. No, I think there is.
You wouldn't hack a car, would you?
I think there is a little bit of anti-cheat built into online because there's someone hosting it. There may be some things, it's not fully tested, but I'm sure you can't like completely cheat. But even then, it is a lot of work putting that thing in. Like, for example, a Call of Duty game has an entirely second program that runs that they made, right? So it's a big deal to do that kind of thing. Workshop support. So we would love to do workshop support, but that's definitely after the game releases, because again, we want to get it out as quick as possible. So when the game is released, then then we can start looking into workshop, see what we can do with that, whether it be custom weapons, skins, or really just we'll have to see on what's possible, right? We definitely want to make the most, do the most of it that we can. Will the new game have the same soundtracks? Yes. The game has the same soundtracks. We're adding some more songs from the same old artists. What's different though is the voices will be different because we've changed the story a little bit to make more sense, take out a few plot holes, and we've added I want to say like double or triple the dialogue. There's so much more dialogue, so all the voices are being redone. And with that in mind, yes, they will sound a little different because we're using the original voice actor, and he is 10 years older now. So they sound a little different. But everything is same original actor, same music artists. Everything's the same.
Just much higher quality, obviously, because it's not compressed anymore.
Yeah. For voice chat, there's no voice chat. We don't have voice chat because we figure people have Discord, they have Steam. You know, there's so many programs out there that have these things built in already. So again, it's just why waste the extra 3 months or whatever trying to add this extra feature when it's so readily available everywhere already. Might be cool to have ranked. Yeah, it would actually be really cool to have ranked, definitely. The only issue is having a ranked mode then means anti-cheat mode as well. Then you really need anti-cheat mode. So putting in a ranked mode also means it's going to take time to put in the anti-cheat mode, and everything needs to be a lot more secure. So that's a really big thing that will have to be added if the game does well.
True, actually,
yeah. So I'm just reading. I'm trying to read everything over here. By the way, if I miss any questions, feel free to ask it a second time. Where did we get the gun sounds from, Mike?
The gun sounds are a few different packs from the Unity, Unreal Asset Store, all those kinds of... There's a lot of really high quality weapon sound effects, and most of them have to be edited because a lot of the gun sounds are too long. They include the tail or things like that. Whereas in a game, everything just needs to be a lot faster. But yeah, they're mostly... None of it is... Justin and I didn't go to the shooting range to wear the gun sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, we were thinking of pulling out Mike's collection of guns and rifles that he keeps in his closet.
Justin is determined to get me put on some kind of CIA list.
So we have tried the old voices. Someone asked if we tried the old voice. Any artist in me asked if we added tried the old voices on the new character designs. We have, and they sound great. We all know the original voices are amazing. We all know that. But again, things have changed. The dialogue, the scripts have changed. There's a lot more, so we need to re-record a lot of things, and we can't keep some old voices and some new ones because they're going to sound different.
Yeah, the continuity would be...
Like you said, yeah, like Sean's voice has aged 10 years. So you're gonna have this scientist who sounds like two different people recorded him, right? Because it's such a long gap. So it makes more sense to just re-record everything. Flash. So the Flash SFH story, I would say it would be non-canon. Yeah, I think this new story is going to be a lot better and tighter. For example, this actually explains the reason why only Jenkins turns into a zombie and literally nobody else on your team does. Just like random stuff like that. It all makes sense now. Everything is explained in like a coherent way this time around. So yeah, we'd much rather that this is the real story. Could damage logs be considered? Damage logs. Like, you mean by damage logs, you mean who on the team did the most damage? Because that would be interesting. We do have, when the match ends, it shows... No, when the match ends, it shows the 3 best performing players, and it'll say like most damage, accuracy, most things like that. Yeah, Jenkins Asian. I don't think we have any specific races on the guys. They're just like, general like Caucasian white dudes, as far as I know.
You mean where they hail from in the world?
Yeah, like Jin is Korean. In the second game, Jin is specifically Korean, but I think in the first game we didn't specify anything like that.
I think we have a few. I don't remember if I took that out of the info in the new game just because of the space. Info books. Just double check. Oh yeah, I do. Riggs, place of birth, USA. Shadows from the UK. Toad is from Canada, Bull is from Austria, and Jenkins is from the UK.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Jenkins and his bro Shadow are British. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And someone asked if it's a lot of work, a big challenge for me to program the game. Been doing this my whole life, so I'm used to it now. I breathe game programming, and they asked if we ever have other programmers in to help out. I would love to. I would love to, but it's tough because this like the engine is so detailed, right? So to have a new person come in to work on it, they would have to understand the entire game engine. So most of the time would be me teaching them like where all the code is, right? It's almost imagine if you created a dictionary that wasn't in order. All of the words were in a random jumbled mess. You created it. And so you know where every word is on the page, right? If you're looking for hot dog, you know it's on page 700. And then you hire somebody to help you out with this dictionary. They have no idea. They could be the best writer in the world. They have no idea where any of these words are, right? It's probably going to take them months to find the word hot dog, having to look through every single word on every page. So that's sort of the issue with this. If we don't start with multiple programmers, it's hard to just bring one in because the engine's already so complex. A lot of balancing issues of sniper rifles in video games. It is really tricky. A lot of first-person games, people are extremely like for example, in Call of Duty, when you take a bullet, the first bullet is always at the center of your crosshair in Call of Duty. So sniper rifles, and especially with this quick scoping thing, you aim at the guy's head, you go into the scope just for a split second so the bullet is accurate, and then you shoot him in the head. We don't have that. We don't have that feature. For us, the sniper rifles they're a little inaccurate to begin with. So, and you can only shoot, I think it's like 3 shots, or sometimes it's 1 shot, then you have to reload. It's definitely an issue, but there's a lot more room for people to catch up to you and sneak up on you. Sorry, if I sound like I'm rambling, it's because, yes, it is. Snipers rifles are always a balancing issue, and we definitely have to see what we can do about it. We did one thing so far, was that their damage is kind of low, but the headshot damage is high. So if you're just randomly shooting with a sniper rifle, it's not going to be too effective. You have to hit in the headshot. You have to take a headshot with a sniper rifle for it to be good. So we're hoping when people are jumping around and everything, if you're missing with snipers, that should be a good way to balance it, especially because they're not ultra accurate. But we'll have to see. You know, we're always super open to are the snipers? Yes, and that's another thing, is every time you take a shot, the next shot is really inaccurate in this game. So you definitely have to be very precise, which can be hard with people jumping all over the place. But yeah, we're definitely open to keep balancing and updating as the game's out there, just player feedback. But we do want to make it so we're not just going to nerf damage or boost damage. We want things that give proper counterplay to both sides. You know, sniper should always remain a one-hit kill in the head, but we got to think of ways around that. How is it still fun for both sides, if that's a thing?
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of just the nature of having a sniper rifle. I remember someone asked a similar question on the last stream, and it's true. It's very part of it is also just the nature of it as a 2D game. Like a sniper rifle just functions differently in 2D than it does in 3D, and so that's just kind of always been part of the game.
Yeah. Not to mention in this game, when you're moving or jumping through the air, your accuracy is greatly reduced. So for a snipers, you pretty much have to be crouching down in one spot. But if you're crouching down in one spot, you open yourself up to so many other attacks. Are you too hydrated? Ooh, that's a good point. I need to drink some water.
No, I'm actually really bad at keeping up with my water intake.
Does the game use shaders or alpha images? Well, everything is technically a shader. Mike, do you still have Unity open?
I do still have Unity open, and I think I'm pretty much done this Manta Star Wars-y.
There are marksman rifles, I believe, right, Mike? There is marksman rifles?
There are not marksman rifles in this game.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so I think we have single fire assault rifles. And we have
the magnums are like kind of what a marksman rifle would be like-ish, like a slower rate of fire, more accurate, that kind of thing.
Ooh, AI changes. Okay, I like that question. But first, is there a beta out for play testing? So for anybody who contributed to the Kickstarter to a certain amount, they're able to play the game forever. Since they contributed until it's released, they'll always be able to play the game. Every update we make, as soon as online is ready, they'll be able to play it. But in terms of an open beta for anyone, no. Sadly, I think if you've donated anything to the Kickstarter, we'll open it a little bit earlier. But like free to the public, we don't want to do that because we don't want a massive stream of information coming in. You know, like again, we're two guys, right? We can't handle that many like bug reports and all this stuff that's coming in. Bug reports are great, but when it's an overwhelming amount, it becomes almost impossible to deal with. So we are going to keep it just a small group of Kickstarter people until release. So for the AI, so the AI actually has a lot of improvements on this one. One of the things in the original was that the AI, there was only certain places the AI could run to. There would be points along the map, and they could only run to certain points. So you might even notice them taking the exact same path over and over. Or maybe you can crouch in a spot that an AI could never reach you. Whereas now they could go literally anywhere they want. They can go anywhere they want. They can react however they want. A big one that people may have noticed is that AIs will teabag you. If they kill you and happen to run by your corpse, they'll they'll teabag you a little bit, just to put some salt on the wound. Another thing is if an AI is in a fight and they run out of ammo in their primary weapon, they will switch to their secondary immediately. So they're really good at switching between their weapons now when they need to, like in the heat of battle. Melee AI has been completely redone. My God, melee AI they'll hunt you down. If an enemy has a sword or some kind of melee weapon, they'll hunt you down hard. Same with if you are to shoot an enemy from a distance, they'll immediately turn and run over to you trying to kill you. So you can't really just shoot guys out of range anymore and let them just sit there and die. They'll get really aggressive if they get shot, and they'll target you immediately. So yeah, they're definitely they should feel a lot more lifelike this time around. The AI is bugged with ammo feed. I know there's a lot of bugs. There's definitely bugs just because, again, one person, right? I can only do one thing at a time. I'm focusing on online right now just to get more people able to try out the online. And when that's done, then I can focus on bugs. You know, they're just one step at a time until the game is done. Will AI still act like spin bots? Hopefully not. I think that was an issue because of the way they moved before, how they're only at certain points they can run to. And sometimes they would get stuck at a point with nowhere to go, so they would constantly be trying to move to where they're already standing. You know, they'd end up doing this little dance. Sniper AI is probably still terrifying, so watch out for that. So, what influenced the switch from Unity to Unreal? Unreal to Unity, sorry. So, the lighting in Unreal is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful. But we found that Unreal does a really bad job of overlapping 2D images. So, for example, Mike, would you mind switching to Unity again real quick for me? So Unreal, they have paper 2D. They have ways that you can do 2D in Unreal, and we created our teaser trailer in Unreal, which the lighting was just the lighting was amazing on that teaser. I loved it. It was just absolutely incredible what you can do with the Unreal Engine. But we found that can you go to the crash map, please? We found that when there's a lot of 2D images on top of each other, the performance just gets completely obliterated. So in Unreal, on this map here in Unreal, we're getting about 20 frames a second, and that's because, Mike, would you mind moving the camera a little to the side to show all the background trees? Just like angle it. Right, that's because of all of the images that are like, see, all of these images are like overlapping each other. Unreal could not handle it. It's not, it's not supposed to have that many 2D things, and we would get 20 frames a second on this map here. 20 frames a second is like, that's a problem, right?
Like GoldenEye levels.
That's really bad. Even 30 frames as a minimum. Like movies run at 24 frames or more. So it's really bad. And then I put this exact same thing into Unity, and we were getting 200 frames a second on the same map. 10 times better performance in Unity than in Unreal. So that was the main. Obviously, the lighting isn't as good. It's a lot more basic. But that was the main change, the main reason for change.
Uh-oh.
Do you plan to implement the lore or characters of Extraction into the trilogy? So, Strike Force Heroes Extraction. That was I mean, we loved it. That was a game we made for iOS, a mobile like Infinite Runner. There's still trailers up there for it. The problem with that game was that as we were developing it, we were making it in Flash, and the program we were making it in Flash, they stopped being supported by Adobe at the time. And then all of a sudden, iPhone comes out with this brand new iPad that has all these new features, and we're not able to update our game to work on the new iPad because the program isn't supported anymore. Like Adobe is not updating their program so we can put these new features. So we kind of got stuck. We have this game we made that we can't update it. And then we have all these new iPads that require updates in order to run. So sadly, the game got stuck in limbo. We weren't able to upload it. Sorry, we weren't able to update it, and iPad took it off the store because we didn't update it, and it just kind of disappeared. And the characters from that game, a lot of them were made specifically for Extraction, but we can't really find a way to put them into the universe. Maybe one day if we have like DLC or something like that, or some like bonus thing we can add to Strike Force Heroes, we can probably put character Extraction.
However, I will say that some of the canon of the characters does apply, because Jenkins' wife, for instance, that can still stay canon for sure.
It can, yeah, but that's the thing too. If let's say we were to make DLC, we were to add a new character, would we put Jenkins' wife just because? Probably not. We're probably going to a character that works with the story, where we can create like a mini campaign, like something really interesting with it. We're not just going to shove in somebody from another game just because.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Like it's cool to see them, but the majority of people who've never played Extraction, like we'd better give like a much better experience. Will AI be able to nay after a win? Let me Google up nay. Man, it's been a while. That's up to Mike if he wants to do that or not.
Can it be animated in 2D?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just hope that who is it? Soulja Boy that made that song? Who's this? Silento? Oh, Soulja Boy's cranked that. As long as he doesn't come after us.
Some people.
A Steam community market for our game. I don't know what that is. I would assume if that means people can make things. Is that what that means? If that's correct, then no. Hard no against. I wouldn't want to. No.
What?
I don't want to have any kind of like start of microtransactions or people spending like once you buy the game, you own the game and that's it.
Yeah, I'm not really intending on it. If we do like a really substantial content update.
Any info on multiplayer or its modes? Yeah, the whole game. Multiplayer is literally anything you can do in the game, you can do with other people. If you wanna play single player with 300 people, go for it. You can do it. I'm not gonna put any limits on the game. There might be a warning that hey, if you play with too many people, the experience may be a little crappy in terms of lag or But otherwise, yeah, you can play single player challenges. You can go into custom game, fight against each other, against your friends with bots, whatever. Literally anything you can do already can be done with other people. And the bosses, yeah, all of the enemies, bosses, everything is going to scale with more people. I think currently I have it so it's like each extra person gives, I think I have 40% more health and 25% more damage to the enemies. So you can only imagine with 100 people, it's going to get wacky really quickly. And bosses already have thousands of health each, so it's going to get pretty nutty. What are we going to do after the game releases? Will we chill for a solid 4 months?
What does chill mean?
Netflix and chill with Mike? Maybe. I'll think about it. But other than that, no. There's no rest for the wicked. When this game is done, it's either immediately starting to work on the next project, or if there are bugs or any kind of fixes, those are top priority for sure. But I mean, obviously, yeah, you might take a week. Congrats on the game release. Take a week, enjoy. Have a nice dinner or something. But otherwise, no, we definitely want to get back into it. How many programming languages do you know so far? 23. 23 and counting. But that doesn't mean anything. Programming languages are almost all the same. They're very similar, so it's not really.
Why are there so many bulls? Oh, not all of these frames are completely unique. I'm just setting this up so that, because technically what I drew today was Bloodrock's Assassin. So I'm just going to get that set up.
Support for mods. Yep, after release, we're going to check that out. See if it's possible to do a workshop. Will we be able to mod the game at all in the future? Yeah, a lot of the same, a lot of similar questions. Yes, after the game is released, and we think it's fun to do after release because you still need time for players to enjoy the base game, right? Until like crazy stuff starts coming out later.
Yeah. Plus, there's a good amount in this game between the challenges and everything.
Well, all the missions are multiplayer. Everything the game has to offer is available in multiplayer. Even the original mission when you play as a scientist, you can have 15 scientists waking up and running around in that facility. It's everything, including the drones. Everything in the game is multiplayer. "200 people climb onto a nuke to beat up one man." Yes, that's accurate. And again,
I think we're going to have a limit. No?
the Steam's official limit is they can only support up to 256 players in a lobby. So the limit is 256. And again, there will be some kind of disclaimer, maybe 4 people or something for a campaign. Like the game will let you know what's ideal, but you will be able to go above that limit. It's just that's when lag might start to set in. Obviously, if you have 200 people running around, first of all, can your computer handle 200 things running around and shooting on screen? And can your internet handle 200 things running around?
I also have a question though. How would that work on the interface when it shows the guys that have connected to the game? This is now me asking Justin questions.
So I'm thinking right now, when you're in the menus and people connect to your game, it shows all of the characters on the side with the loadouts. You can like see everybody in there, what they have set up. I'm thinking when you get to a certain amount that's unreasonable, maybe like 10 people or more, then it's just going to stop showing people. It's just going to list the names in your lobby, but it won't show everyone's loadouts. Because that's when you start getting into territory of like, my game is about to crash and burn because there's way too many things on screen going on at once. Same with, I might even remove a few things from the game. If you're playing with lots of people, maybe it'll automatically remove like bullet shells flying out of the gun. You know, just like small things that'll make it run a little better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely, the goal is to have at one point 256 people in one match. That's definitely the goal. So to see how that works, we'll have to see. Nothing again.
Will the game mode Juggernaut be different? How so?
No, well, I think the Juggernaut should be the same. And yes, it's possible to have over 200 people watching a guy piss. And in our game only, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
you get 200 people watching a man piss.
If you play one game where you can watch a man pee this year, make it Strike Force Heroes.
How old were we when we made Strike Force Heroes 1? Like 20-something, 24?
Something like that.
Make a large enough map for battle.
We already established last stream that 30 is middle-aged, so...
We did? Depends on what age you intend to live. I intend to live...
That's exactly what I said.
I'm going to live till at least 200, so I mean... I'm still technically a baby. Well, the cameos, there's no real say whether the cameos and everything will be available for use at any time. It's just when they're coded into the game, they'll be available. Like we're not for the people that have the Kickstarter, like the special, what was it, the heroic tier in Kickstarter? Anyone who has that tier is free to play literally as soon as something is working, it'll be in the game for them to play.
Yeah, it's just been a while between updates on that because of the whole multiplayer thing.
Yeah, so the multiplayer, in order to get multiplayer to work, I have to literally break the game at like every bone and rebuild it. So right now, internally, the game is a hot mess. The multiplayer is working, but for example, single player doesn't work. You can't play the game by yourself. It only works if you're connected to Steam and playing online with somebody else in the game, you know. So there's, I can't just release like updates. It's either the whole multiplayer thing has to go out at once, or nothing. So that's why when it's completely done, we'll make a big update and multiplayer will be available. But until then, sadly, there will be no updates, no small updates.
And we'll probably do a stream with you guys too. That would be fun. Be able to play against some of you guys online. I'm sure I'd get destroyed.
Timmy refuses to believe Mike is in his 30s. He's at least 500. Yes. Mike has the wisdom of a 500-year-old man and the bone structure. A reverse gun game in quick match. I don't know. Maybe? I don't remember what's in quick match right now. I haven't quick match is another one I need to work on that for online. So I don't know what's in there at the moment. But if anything, I think in terms of mod supports, that might be one of the first things that become available, is giving people the option to make their own gun games. Possibly through a mod, possibly through the game, I don't know, but we definitely want to go for as much customizability as we can.
Oh, they mean like the ability to pick your gun list?
He asked for a reverse gun game if it's available in custom, and I don't remember exactly what's available for that in custom.
Sorry, what? You mean reverse gun game?
Just gun game, but the weapons are reversed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually,
So
very
saying, like,
self-explanatory.
I think with whatever's in the game currently should be in custom. So if that's available in any other mode, hopefully it should be available in custom. And if not, that will probably be an update at some point after release. You finally get to kill the devs and they don't get to cheat this time? Who says?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna cheat.
Yeah, come on. What do you think this is? Do you know who we are? We're devs. Hey, Justin. Like,
whose game is this?
Would I hold a grudge against you if you obliterated me 120 times in all games in the last 10 years? Yes, absolutely. I hate you forever, yes. No. No. That's why we put ourselves in the game, because we're masochists and we love to watch ourselves get hurt. In games, not in real life. Please don't hurt us in real life.
The game when it comes out. Yes, hopefully that's why we went with the publisher, is actually just to increase our reach and our ability to get the game out in multiple places, especially because we know that our audience is very international and we don't have the resources or speak enough languages to be able to translate the game and get it out to as many people as we know want to play the game.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and China's a really tough market to get into. They have their own version of Steam and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah. Mike, someone's asking if you have drawings of us in the game yet, which you do somewhere, right?
I do. One sec. Let me just finish putting this in. I accidentally drew this in the wrong FLA, believe it or not. So I'm just fixing that mistake.
And can we add feature for custom game where we can manage our teammates? So that was originally part of the plan, where you can add bots, for example, and then just the way you select your heroes, you can customize the bots. That was the original plan, but now with the inclusion of online multiplayer and all these other features, I think I'm going to leave that out just in the interest of saving time. Like, it's such a small thing. So that might be left out for now, just to get the game on time. You know, I don't want to risk any special features that might end up delaying the game.
Yeah, it also requires a lot of UI work, which, if you know anything about Justin, is his favorite thing to work on. The menus.
Yes. I go through
Especially-
phases.
Especially adding features to the menus, right?
Yeah, sometimes I love doing menus when it's easy, and sometimes I want to rip out all my hair and throw my computer out the window when working on menus. It bounces back and forth, usually the second part.
You guys upload some CGIS mods.
Do I have a priority list?
I'll upload some of the art that I showed on this stream, sure.
Which is the first order? Sorry, any artists, what do you mean, do I have a priority list? You mean what I'm working on at the moment? Someone's gonna try to make not safe for work mods. Bro. For all you know,
On the
that's
internet?
That's gonna be Mike's gonna be making the not safe for work mods on an alternate mod. You'll see.
So
If you ever see these nude patches come out and they're shockingly similar art to the originals, you know who did it. You know who's making this. Oh yeah, that's Mike and I.
These are the two of us, which is, I think, pretty accurate to what we look like in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had to tone the muscles down a little bit for the
Yeah,
art.
it's pretty close. I don't, in fact, have an eye patch. And then these are the other ones. It's just for fun.
Oh, so the features I'm working on, I for this game, I'm trying to work on features that I think that I think the Kickstarter guys will enjoy the most. So one of the reasons I'm like the campaign is not completely finished yet. There's still the final boss to work on and some small things. But I want to work on features that I think the tester, the heroic tier guys who can play the game that they'll enjoy the most. That's why I'm putting multiplayer. I'm doing that right now. So while I'm finishing up the campaign, I think it'll be cool if people are able to, play around together online and they can make YouTube videos, whatever they want with it. So that's basically my order. Is what do I think that people will enjoy first?
So we're gonna wrap this up soon. Maybe just one more question.
I'll answer a few combined into one.
You want to? Will there be sex in the game? Yes. There will not.
There is there's plenty of sex in the game, but it's not on screen. It's when you're playing a mission and two of your teammates are missing, you know what's going on.
Yeah, it's very safe to assume.
And the Kickstarter build, there's no saving yet. There's no saving yet because I figured when the official game comes out, like the game is changing so much that the saves are going to have to be erased anyway. So it kind of sucks if you make a lot of progress and it's all gone. So that's something I have left out. Like I'm not doing a lot of work on the saving yet, just because things are changing. And again, it kind of sucks to erase someone's progress that they've worked hard on.
Do you guys have a dream game that you've always wanted to make if money and time weren't an issue? I believe that Justin and I have games, but they're probably different. But everybody has something if money and time was an issue. What would you say, Justin?
Yeah, let's answer this, and then we can call it a day and gotta get back. Me personally, man, a mix of some kind of like a Zelda game with like crafting, some exploration, some you make your own stuff, some RPG mechanics. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Mine would have to be some kind of espionage game. Metal Gear, GoldenEye, and if anyone's played the game No One Lives Forever, something closer to that. You can see how and more story focused, whereas you can tell the differences in our like play styles based on that.
Yeah, Mike, have you shown the cat girls that you drew?
Yes, cat girls are up here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're gonna have to figure out a better way to get them into the game because of how big the heads are.
Yeah, all the skins are unlockable. As far as we know, every skin in the game is going to be unlockable, including the cat girls, including the bosses. It's not coded into the game yet, but the idea is that they will come from either like the feats you complete, completing missions, or of course the slot machine. But yeah, okay.
Okay.
4 o'clock. And, yeah.
That's another stream in the bag. We'll do this again. We'll do either some more. I'll draw either some more skins, or I can show you guys the maps or like a cutscene.
Yeah, we might be able to show some internal gameplay stuff once that's progressed a little more.
All right, guys, it's been fun.
Yep. All right. I'm hopping.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off too. All right, guys. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Have a good day. Bye.